Since the dawn of time, several questions have plagued the human race. Why does the sun rise in the morning? Why not in the afternoon once in a while? Where does it go at night? Does my stomach think all potato is mashed? Why is Bitcoin going to the moon, and where the hell do I sell? In today's video, I want to tackle at least the last two questions. The ones before it, hey, I'm only human. But I will try and answer the question why Bitcoin is rallying and where you should sell in the most complete and rational way possible using on and off-chain indicators and historical precedents. Rationality is a rare occurrence in this space, but I'm going to do my very best. Timestamps are below. First up, where to sell, hedge, take profits, however you define it. This is always a dicey question. The entire price history of Bitcoin can attest to that fact. Wait, it's all bull flags? Always has been. But the question gets even harder to tackle in a bull run. Rule number one of trading is don't fight the trend. It is your friend, after all. Still, this is a question I'm seeing a lot on Twitter. Maybe you're getting tempted to sell right now. People don't want to see their net worths evaporate like in 2018. I completely understand the desire to avoid that. So I'm tackling this question first because once I move on to why we're rallying, you may just change your mind. Anyway, where do we take profits? Because we're in price discovery mode, there is no horizontal lines of which historically are the most accurate predictions of support and resistance, but that doesn't mean we can't draw new ones ourselves. To do that, we will be using the Fibonacci retracement tool from the top of 2017 to the bottom of 2018. Make sure log is on and fib levels based on log scale is checked if you want to try this at home. But why should we trust the Fibonacci tool? Well, I asked God this question and he said, bro, I created this number sequence, right? And I put it in everything, like literally everything. In space, in flowers, in Trump's hairline, in an egg. So why not in TA? Anyway, we can see that it is actually incredibly useful. Every single line since 0.2 has been impactful. 0.3, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 1. Even to a degree, 1.2. Okay, all of those circles are ugly, you get the point. We are currently approaching 1.4. What's funny about this is you usually don't see numbers above 1 using the Fibonacci tool, but we have to here because Bitcoin is doing Bitcoin things again.
Bro, this guy's crazy. Oh my god. Oh my god.
So if you wanted to take profits, if you wanted to secure the bag, if you're not in a position where you can afford to lose potentially life-changing money, if you want to hedge against an inevitable drop, these lines are important things to consider. The next being $44,000. That's right, a likely resistance level, which if breached should flip support. It is so close as of filming, but if we do break through it, which seems likely, here's what we do. Settings, 1.6. It's so big. I've never seen a fib tool so high, but it is kind of beautiful. 1.6 would be $64,500. That's where I think we'd be going next. So this is some of the most consistently accurate technical analysis for Bitcoin that can be done right now. Historically, it's been so good, but it is still very hard to analyze uncharted waters. It is a great problem to have, though.
This is Houston. Say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem.
Those levels are where to consider to take profits if you absolutely must, but inevitably the thought will occur, how bad an idea is that exactly? After all, despite all the crazy gains we've seen so far, it still does not touch the percentile gains seen of the 2013 bull market, which was over 5,000%, or even the 2017 one over 1,000%. In the year 2020, year to date was 300%. It was more if you take it from a certain time period, but there it is. The fabulously gay rainbow chart shows that same data in another way. The bull run should technically not be over now, as we're only just over halfway through here. We should be ending this bull market at least a 6-figure Bitcoin. Like a confluence of opinions, even on-chain data points to this being the case. We are looking at the entity-adjusted dormancy flow indicator for Bitcoin. This has a complicated formula of dormancy equals destruction divided by volume. But to be understood simply, the higher this orange line, the more dormant Bitcoin is, the less is being transferred around, which has always been flashing high during bull markets and flashing low during bear markets. We are currently at the halfway point, just now crossing over to bullish territory. Again, another indicator pointing to the fact we are halfway through this bull market. How exciting is that? But the method in which Bitcoin is doing this is bubblish. Is that a word? It is now. I'd rather not inflate too fast that we pop violently and then endure a multi-year bear market. It's good for memes, but it's not good for the soul. Slow and steady is much more sustainable. You would think buyers know this, yet it continues to be bought straight up, regardless. Why? Have people gone mad?
I speak the language of the millennial. Dabarit wagwam!
I actually don't think they have at all, because they might just understand what is happening. Let's look at why Bitcoin is rallying now. We've all heard of institutional FOMO this past year. I'm here to say
It's true. All of it.
estimated to be somewhere around $5 billion this year, up more than 600% from the previous year, possibly going to be up this year too. I recently saw a YouTube video saying that institutions weren't behind the rally, that their trading volume on exchanges was about the same as it was in 2017, yet that does not take into account how much is being bought directly from sellers without ever going to exchanges, known as OTC deals. We never see that data. But we can get a clue as to how much is being bought by looking at what's being deposited to exchanges. Almost never been as low as it is now. Very different to the rally of 2017. One of the most incredibly bullish charts that can be observed right now. But 900 new Bitcoin is created per day, or $37 million worth. Where is all of that going? From this, we can infer that miners are either holding onto it or selling it directly to institutions who would be willing to pay a premium for large amounts of Bitcoin. But they just aren't mass depositing to exchanges anymore. So I've laid the intro there, but now let's really get into the meat of why Bitcoin is rallying right now. There is a confluence of two diametrically opposed influences that have met in an explosive way. FOMO buying mixed with FOMO holding. In order to describe the impact of that, I'd like to give an analogy. The other day I was playing chess with my wife. We both played a very defensive game, not losing a single piece either side for near 10-15 minutes. Every piece was defended, but eventually it comes to a head. Once one pawn fell, there was a sudden bloodbath. Piece after piece started to fall because of how close all the pieces were to the opposing side. It was inevitable. We could only delay it so long. The longer the wait, the more explosive the result. Growing FOMO buying combined with FOMO holding was always going to come to a head in an explosive way. Demand is through the roof and supply is just gone. If you look at many exchange balance books, it's just air and it's created a bloodbath. Bitcoin is crashing upwards. But why the FOMO buying and holding? You'll get different answers according to who you ask, but let me take my very best stab at it. According to a philosophy principle known as Occams Razor, the smallest number of assumptions you have to make is usually the correct answer. What is the smallest assumption we can make about why there is so much FOMO? Back in March of 2020, Bitcoin was at $5,000 following the global market crash from scares surrounding the virus. This is what also happened just after.
Your ATM is safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve. We will do whatever we need to do to make sure that there's enough cash in the banking system.
An infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Pretty simple. I think you can see what I'm getting at. Bitcoin is the most scarce and liquid asset in the world. It's a marriage made in heaven. The United States has printed $3 trillion in 2020, roughly 3/4 of the entire amount previously created in the US central bank's 108-year history. This activity has seen the DXY, or US dollar index, a measure of the value of dollars relative to foreign currencies, decline sharply ever since March, all the while Bitcoin sharply gaining. Is that likely to stop anytime soon? Absolutely not. Not even close. Joe Biden's looking for a further $3 trillion stimulus package. Again, halfway through the stimulus, it seems. Does that mean we're halfway through the bull market? It's also quite funny considering lending is at all-time lows, stock market all-time highs, housing all-time highs, but I'm not going to argue the ethics of this. Suffice it to say, you're going to want to have some hard assets, Bitcoin being the hardest. Last but not least, retail. It's finally here. While Google search activity for Bitcoin is still not at 2017 levels, they are projected to be soon, especially for Ethereum. Coinbase, one of newcomers' favorite exchanges to use because of its popularity and simplicity, is currently number 2 most trending app behind PayPal on the Play Store, up from like number 300 a few weeks ago. A similar story on the Apple Store too. But even PayPal in some countries in the world allows Bitcoin purchases. So we are seeing price activity now being supported by retail too. They are a little bit slow to the party, for sure, but not too late. Anyway, so those are some of my thoughts about why Bitcoin is rallying right now. I am loving it. Can I just say that? Been an absolute smasher of a week. I hope you guys are enjoying it too. You deserve it. Let me know what you guys think. Give me a follow on Twitter. I post memes, share my insights. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. That's brutal, but man, they deserve it. Go around again. Let them have it.